everyone. Today we're going to be doing an all levels Vinyasa flow. It is optional to have a couple of blocks today, as well as a blanket if you tend to get cold in Shavasana. We're going to have a lot of cameos by my dog Callie today, so be on the lookout for those. And let's get started. We're going to start today by coming up to the top of our mats. Feet can be together or slightly apart as we stand tall in our mountain pose. Palms are facing forward, eyes are closed. And just taking a moment here to feel yourself rooting down into the earth. Feel the corners of your feet, the outer edge of your pinky toe, your big toe, the corners of your heels. Pressing down into your mat as you start to gently lift up through the kneecaps, engaging through the muscles in your legs. Tailbone releases down towards the earth as you start to rise up with the crown of your head. Shoulders will start to inhale, rise up to the ears. And exhale, roll down the back. 2 more times here. Inhale, shoulders rise up. Exhale, release them back down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Opening heart center to all the possibilities of your practice today. And taking your left hand, placing it onto the outside of your left leg. On your next inhale, right arm rises up and overhead. Fingertips are reaching towards the left. Inhale, breathe through the sides of the rib cage. And exhale, release that hand down. Inhale, left arm rises up and to the side. And exhale, release back down. And starting to move back and forth here. Inhaling all the way into the belly as we exhale, release fully back out through the nose. Starting to come into your body, noticing where you feel the sensation, directing your breath into those areas. Finding evenness on both sides. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, you can release back down into your mountain pose. From here, keeping your feet rooted, we're going to start to bring our arms back and forth. Just imagine that you're a kid again, swinging those arms, allowing your movements to have freedom. Releasing through the shoulders, maybe looking back behind you if that feels okay in your neck. And as you keep moving, starting to gain some momentum, maybe gently patting yourself on the back as your hand comes behind you. And on your next exhale, we'll start to make our way slowly back to the center. Take your time. You have nowhere to be but here. And making your way back into your mountain pose. Ankles are going to come together this time. As we inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Interlace your fingers. First 2 fingers are pointing straight up to the sky and your thumbs are crossed. Arms are going to come in line with your ears. As you inhale, lengthen through the fingertips and bring your tailbone down towards the ground so you lengthen through your lower back. And as you exhale, start to bring both hands over to the right side. Gently bring that left shoulder a little further back. And on your next inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, lean over to the left. This pose is called Ardha Chandrasana. Standing half moon. On your next inhale, come back up to center. And on your exhale, we'll bring our hands down onto our lower back in our imaginary jean pockets. Elbows come together on your inhale. On your exhale, hips push forward. Open up through the lungs, through the heart. And on your next inhale, come back up to center. Hands come back down to your sides, and we'll start in our sun salutation A, saluting the sun for rising in a brand new day. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. As you exhale, hinge from the hips and come into your forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway into your flat back, crown of the head reaches forward. On your exhale, planting your hands and stepping your left foot back. Release that left knee down, and you can release the top of your foot or keep the toes tapped if you'd like. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Left hip pulls forward to meet the right. Exhale, release your hands down. We're going to tuck the left toes under, lift that back leg, and then pull back into your plank here. In your plank, crown of the head reaches forward, heels pull back, shoulders are stacked on top of your wrists. On your next exhale, start to lower all the way down. You can bring your knees down first or lower all at one time. As you inhale, come up into your cobra. Elbows are tight to the sides like shelves in your rib cage. And as you exhale, release back down. Again here, inhale, rising up into your cobra. And exhale, releasing back down. One more time here, inhale, rise, heart pulls forward, toes pull back. And exhale, release back down. Tucking your toes under, start to lift up into your tabletop position. And then walk your hands slightly forward so that you create an angle in the arms. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And you can pedal the feet out here. Take another breath. And on your next inhale, right leg rises up and back. Exhale, foot comes in between your hands. Release that left knee down. Inhale, back up into your low lunge or Vinyasa. And as you exhale, release your hands back down. We'll tuck the left toes under, lift that back leg, and then walk your left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, lift halfway into your flat back, shoulders pull back and away from the ears. Exhale, release into your forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Breathe in this moment, and exhale, bring it to your heart center. Hands come back down towards your sides as you come back into your mountain pose. And moving on, inhale, arms rise up and overhead. As we exhale, hinge from the hips, release into your fold. Inhale, lift halfway into your flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, and this time we're going to step our right foot back behind us. Release that back knee. Your front knee should have a 90-degree bend, so that knee is stacked over your ankle. As you inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Soften the shoulders down and away from the ears. On your next exhale, release your hands down. Tuck your right toes under, lift your back leg, and then pull back into your plank again. This time you can lower all the way down onto your belly like we did before, or you can come into your half chaturanga. So bringing those knees down, release the tops of the feet, and then start to bring your shoulders in line with your elbows and your rib cage. Pull your sternum forward. Inhale, you can come back up into your cobra, maybe a little higher this time, or you can start to press into the tops of the feet, lift the knees, lift the hips, pull the heart forward, lengthen through the arms, upward facing dog. And exhale, pull back into your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll start to take that left leg and lift it up and back behind us again. Exhale, foot comes back in between the hands. Release your back knee down. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, release the hands down. Right toes tuck. Lift the back leg and walk that right foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release into your fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. As we exhale, hands to heart center and come back into your strong, steady mountain. Big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. We're going to sit down into our chair pose here. So bringing the tops of your thighs to roll in towards each other as your heart sits higher than your hips. And on your next exhale, forward fold, hinge from the hips. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. On your exhale, plant your hands, step both feet back at the same time, coming into your plank. And from here, you can come all the way down, half chaturanga or full chaturanga. So if you're coming into full chaturanga, shift forward onto your toes so that your shoulders are slightly above the wrists, and lower down, full body in one line. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises up and back behind you. Exhale, foot comes in between the hands. We're going to release our left heel down. Back toes are pointing slightly in. And as you inhale, arms rise up and overhead, coming into your warrior one. Slight bend in the front knee. Left hip pulls forward to meet the right. And on your next exhale, release the hands down. Step back into your plank and move through your vinyasa. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up, and exhale, pull back. And on your next inhale, left leg rises up and back behind you. Bring that foot in between your hands as you release your back heel down. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And on your next exhale, release the hands down, step back and move through your flow. Follow the rhythm of your breath. And make your way back into your downward facing dog. Taking 3 full steady breaths here. Feeling your tailbone reach up to the sky as you soften the heels towards the earth. Fingers are spread wide. And look in between your hands. You can step or float your feet up. If you're floating, bend in your knees, lift your hips high, and float those feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release into your fold. Big toes touch, heels are apart. We're going to sit back down into our chair pose here. Rock that weight back into your heels. And on your next inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. And back into your strong, steady mountain. And just close your eyes here, noticing the heat that's starting to create within the body, knowing that that heat helps us to burn off the energy that we no longer need, any stagnant energy, any tension that is holding in the spaces of our bodies. We're allowing that energy to burn off, creating space for new breath, new life. And bringing your big toes together to touch again. We're going to sit back down into our chair pose here. This time, hands are going to come to heart center. We're going to take our left elbow, hook it onto the outside of your right leg. So as you inhale, the crown of your head reaches forward. As you exhale, left rib cage rotates up to the sky. Hips are still below your heart here. And if you can start to take that left leg and pull it back behind you in a high lunge twist. And if that's not working for you, you can unwind first and then pull your leg back and come back into your twist. On your next inhale, we'll start to come back to center here, coming into our crescent. So that back heel is lifted like you're in your Barbie heel shoe. Deep bend in your front knee. Inhale, breathe up into the fingertips. On your exhale, we're going to twist over to the right side. Arms come out to the sides. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist over to the right. Inhale, back to center. On your next exhale, we're going to twist over to the right again. This time you can bring your right hand onto your back leg as your left arm rises up and overhead. On your next exhale, that left hand's going to come onto the inside of your right foot as your right arm rises up. And on your exhale, release that hand down. Start to step back and move through your flow. Exhale, lowering all the way down or into your chaturanga. Inhale into your cobra or your up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking in between your hands, you can step or float your feet up. As we inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release into your fold. We're going to sit back down into our chair on our inhale. And then bringing your hands together, heart center, right elbow hooks onto the outside of your left leg. And bring those hips down. Press that right elbow onto the outside of your leg, helping you to rotate your rib cage. And then if you can start to take that right leg and bring it back behind you into your lunge. And if not, you can unwind and pull that leg back. One more breath here. And on your next inhale, we'll come back to center in our crescent lunge. Feeling the pelvis heavy towards the earth. Feeling the fluidity of the breath through the sides of the body. On your next exhale, arms open to the left side as we twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, open to the left. Inhale, back to center. And on your next exhale, twist over to the left. This time, left hand comes down onto your back leg as your right arm rises up and overhead. On your next exhale, we're going to take that right hand, bring it onto the inside of your left foot. Left arm rises up. And on your exhale, we'll start to release that hand down. Step back and move through your flow. And once you've reached your downward facing dog, taking a moment here. And on your next inhale, we'll start to lift that right leg up and back behind us. Bend in the knee and open up your hip. Maybe rolling that knee in one direction and then the other. And straightening through the leg, bringing your hips back into alignment. Right foot's going to come in between your hands, spiral down your back heel, and rise up into your warrior two. So here in your warrior two, your ankles are underneath your wrists. So if you need to, you can widen your stance a little more here. Feeling the strength, the courage of the warrior that is embodied in each and every one of us. And moving into our triangle from here, you're going to straighten your front leg, and you can stay right here, or you can heel toe that back foot in a couple of times. As you shift your hips back, reach your right hand forward, and either bring that hand onto a block or onto the inside of your leg. As you bring your left arm straight up here, and think about squeezing a lemon in between your shoulder blades. Spreading through the collarbones, bringing new breath into the body. On your next inhale, we're going to start to come up and face the left side of your mat. So bring both feet to point towards the left side, and then hands come onto your hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of your head, and as you exhale, start to fold. Hinging from the hips, hands come onto the ground here, and you can widen your stance a little more if you'd like. Maybe your big toes come in a little more than your heels. And you can stay right here with your hands underneath your shoulders, or you can start to walk the heels of your hands in line with the heels of your feet, coming into your chaturanga arms, bending your elbows in line with your wrists. And then rolling those elbows in towards each other, creating space in the back of the neck. And on your next inhale, start to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. We're going to keep our left hand onto the mat. As you inhale, right arm rises up and overhead, looking up towards your fingertips if that feels okay in your neck. And on your next exhale, release that hand down. Inhale, left arm rises up. And exhale, release that hand back down. We're going to point our right toes forward as we bend in that front knee. And start to walk our hands to frame that front foot, coming back up onto our back toes. Lift that heel and make your way into your runner's lunge. So really pull the shoulders back, crown of the head reaches forward as your left heel pulls back as well. Exhale, release that left knee to the mat. And we're going to start to heel toe our right foot to the right edge, coming into our lizard pose. Hands come onto the inside of the foot here. You can stay here on your hands, or you can start to take a block and place your forearms onto the block, or you can come all the way down onto your forearms here. You can also roll to the outer edge of your right foot, lifting the sole of your foot off of the ground. And maybe you want to point your toes out to the side a little bit at a 45-degree angle. So wherever you want to be today, inhaling, crown of the head reach forward, exhale, soften and release through the hips. And on your next inhale, we'll start to come back up onto our hands. Start to tuck your left toes under and then maybe lift that left foot off of the ground. If you want, you can take your right hand and start to reach back behind you as you start to touch your back foot. Opening up, rolling that right shoulder back, bringing your heart up to the sky. And on your next exhale, start to release and unwind. We'll tuck the left toes under and lift the back leg this time as we pull our right foot back behind us and move through our Vinyasa. Making your way back into your downward facing dog. And coming into the body, just noticing any subtle changes between one side and the other, without making any judgments, without saying it's good or it's bad, just bringing the light of awareness into those spaces. And on your next inhale, we'll start to lift our left leg, bend in the knee, open up the hip here, and maybe you come into your knee circles here as well. Lengthening through the left leg, exhale, foot comes back in between the hands, bringing your back foot to point sideways as we have a heel to arch alignment in the feet. And then inhale, come up into your warrior two. Again, finding your space here to root down through the soles of the feet. Rise up with the crown of the head, feeling strong and steady here. And then start to lengthen through your front leg. We'll make our way into our triangle pose. So if you want to, you can scooch that back foot in a little bit. And then shift your hips back. Reach your left hand forward like you're reaching over a countertop. And then place that hand onto your leg as your right arm rises up. Feeling the crown of your head and your tailbone in the same line here. So making any subtle adjustments as you feel your body in this shape. And on your next inhale, we'll start to come up and face the right side of the room this time. And so in this fold, you can keep your hands on your hips just like we did before, or you can interlace your fingers behind your back, opening a little deeper through the shoulder girdle. So wherever you want to be, as you inhale, roll those shoulders back, look up, and as you exhale, start to fold. Feel the soles of your feet root down. And you can feel the weight being transferred a little bit from the heels of your feet into the balls of your feet. Try to find that center in between. And maybe giving yourself a gentle shake of the head to remind yourself to release through the back of the neck. Every inhale, crown of the head reaches down. Every exhale, soften a little more through the shoulders. Allow the hands to come a little closer to the ground. On your next inhale, we'll start to lift halfway into our flat back. Release your hands if they're bound and bring them back onto the ground. Left toes point forward, bend in that front knee, and then start to walk the hands to frame that foot. Come back into your runner's lunge here. So coming up onto your fingertips. Pull the heart forward. And exhale, release that right knee down. Left foot, heel toes to the left edge of the mat as both hands come inside of it. And looking back behind you, making sure that your knee is in line with your ankle, and you can feel all 5 toenails pressing onto the mat. Coming back into whatever variation you did on the other side, taking your time. Knowing that it may have been a while since the last time you opened up through your hips. So being kind to yourself with your thoughts, taking it breath by breath. And on your next inhale, you can come back up onto your hands. And then start to tuck your right toes under, maybe scooch that right knee back behind you a little more so that when you bend your knee, you can start to reach back with that left hand and grab the top of the foot. Roll the heart up. Breathe all the way into the belly. And on your next exhale, unwind. Hands come back underneath the shoulders as we lift the back leg, and then pull that left foot back to meet the right. Move through your vinyasa. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, pulling back into your down dog. Coming onto your knees, and make your way into your child's pose. Forehead comes down onto the mat. Maybe gently rolling it from side to side. Giving yourself a little massage. And notice how your breath is moving through your body. If you need to, just giving yourself a gentle reminder to breathe a little deeper, a little more fully. And remember to fully release back out. And on your next inhale, lifting the head, we're going to start to bring our feet out in front of us, so however you want to do that. As we make our way into our seated forward fold, pulling out any flesh from underneath of you so you're sitting on your bones. As you inhale, arms rise up and overhead, and as you exhale, we'll come into our fold. And so if you are not into reaching your feet today, you're going to bring those hands onto the fronts of your shins, maybe having a slight micro bend in those knees to help you to lengthen through the lower back. As you inhale, heart comes towards your toes, and as you exhale, start to release into your fold. Notice if you're folding, you start to round in the spine and bring the shoulders up to your ears a little more. Create space in the back of the neck. Folding only from the hips, keeping that long length throughout the entire spine. On your next inhale, we'll start to lift back up to center, and we'll pull our right knee, our right heel in towards us, bending in that knee. And then taking that right foot, bringing it to the outside of your left leg. So we're going to come into a twist here. Callie's going to help us with our twist. So in this twist, you're going to take your right hand and bring it behind you to the base of your spine. And your left elbow is going to hook onto the outside of your right leg. Left toes are flexed here as well, so that you can keep your legs steady here. So as you inhale, start to lift up and through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, start to twist here. Looking back behind you or looking to the side, whatever feels good in your neck, in your body today. And on your next exhale, we'll start to unwind, come back to center, and then bring both legs back out in front of us, shake it out. We'll move over to the other side, bending in that left knee, and then start to bring your left foot onto the outside of your right leg. And then from here, left hand comes to the base of the spine, and then right elbow comes to the outside of your left leg. Again, flexing through your right foot. Inhale, think about lifting up and out through the sides of the rib cage, and then exhale, twisting, looking back behind you, using every breath to help you move. And on your next exhale, you can start to unwind, come back to center, shake it out. Here we're going to start to come up to the top of our mat, bending in our knees, and you can use a block here as well if you would like, taking that block and placing it in between your thighs. That's going to help you to internally rotate the thighs and to help you lift your back up without pinching or squeezing in your lower back. So as we exhale, you're going to start to lower all the way down, walking your heels in towards your glutes, touching your heels with your fingertips, and maybe rolling your shoulders underneath your back. Palms are pressed down. As you inhale, start to lift up through your hips and your heart center. If you have that block, start to squeeze it, and feeling those glutes start to engage without bringing full engagement into them. So you want to really engage through the tops of your thighs, and you want to also lift up through your chest and not just your hips, creating a full healthy back bend here. Taking one more breath. And on your next inhale, come up onto your toes. Exhale, start to roll down the spine. If you have that block, you can start to release it. And from here, you can take that block and just place it underneath your sacrum, so that bony part at the base of your spine. And again, if you don't have a block, you can use a book or anything that you can just stack underneath and lift your hips up a little bit. And then we'll start to bring our feet up to the sky here. So coming into a supported shoulder stand, bringing the ankles in line with the hips. And you can close your eyes here. This pose helps us to start to slow down in our heart rate and our breath. And if you start to feel any tingling in the toes here, that is natural. We are changing the blood flow in our bodies here. And once we bring our feet back down, you will start to feel that change. New blood flow and oxygen. And from here, we'll start to bring our feet back down one by one. Release that block. And from here, we'll start to come into fish pose. So lengthening the legs out in front of you, bringing your ankles together, and coming up onto your forearms. As you inhale, heart rises, and as you exhale, bring the crown of your head down towards the ground. Expanding, opening through the lungs, bringing in beautiful breath. And on your next exhale, we'll start to release back down onto the mat. Bring your knees into your chest, strap your arms around the fronts of your shins, and you can rock from side to side here. Giving yourself a gentle massage. And taking your hands, bringing them onto the outsides of your feet, coming into happy baby. So your ankles are going to stack on top of your knees. Knees come to the outside edges of your rib cage. And if you'd like, you can start to gently sway from side to side. And bringing your knees back into your chest, giving yourself a hug, thanking your body for bringing you through your practice today. And as you exhale, releasing into your Shavasana. Extending your legs, bringing your hands in line with your hips. And again, if you grabbed a blanket to use for your Shavasana, if you get cold, you can start to put that on you. And start to close the eyes. Making any little adjustments here to help you come into a deeper state of relaxation. And starting to make your way fully into your body, closing off your senses to the outside world. Softening the space in between your eyebrows, relaxing the skin around the eyes, releasing the jaw. Softening the shoulders into the mat as you release the muscles from the arms. Relaxing through the wrists, slightly curling through the fingertips. And as we feel the breath start to come a little slower in and out of the chest and the belly, still making its way fully into those spaces, just at a slower pace. Feeling the hips start to release as we relax the muscles away from the bones and the legs. Letting go of the ankles, the tops of the feet, and the toes. Bringing the feet to gently fall out to the sides. And taking this time in your Shavasana to process and absorb all the benefits of your practice. to deepen your breath. Bringing your awareness back out into the space as you start to move through your fingers and your toes. Bringing your arms up and overhead as you reach your toes to point and extend. And as you exhale, rolling over to one side, taking a moment here. And on your next inhale, coming up into your comfortable seated position, bringing your hands to heart center and your eyes closed. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, yogis.